Welcome to Too Fond of Books. My name is Janelle and this is my Jane Austen July tag video. This is the first year I've participated in Jane Austen July and I have really enjoyed it. So I thought this would be an appropriate time to do the tag, which is also really fun. The originator of this tag is Blatantly Bookish, and I will put her original video, a link to her original video down below in the description box. And I was tagged by the beautiful Berna from Berna's Bookish Adventures, so thank you very much for tagging me. And I will put her Jane Austen July tag video in the description box as well. Check them both out, they're both great booktubers. So this is a 7-question tag, and I had a lot of fun doing this. Some of the questions were actually really hard, and I had to think a lot before I came up with my answers. But let's just get right into this. Number 1, what is your favorite Jane Austen book? Now this one didn't require a lot of thought for me. It's still Persuasion. Persuasion is my favorite Jane Austen. I just really love Anne Elliot as a character, and the relationship between her and Captain Wentworth is great. The other characters in this book are great as well. I love the Admiral and Mrs. Croft are a great couple, and I just really love this story, and the letter that Captain Wentworth writes at the end to her is just awesome. So yeah, my favorite is Persuasion. Question number 2, who is your favorite Jane Austen protagonist? So because of my answer to question number 1, this shouldn't be a surprise, but my favorite protagonist is Anne Elliot. I just think that she is such an interesting character, and she's my favorite. She's a bit older than the other protagonists, but I love her character and her personality. She has a family that is just infuriating and hurtful, and she's so patient with them, but she also stands up for herself when she wants to, like when she wants to go visit her friend Miss Smith, and you know, her dad and sister want her to go, I don't know, visit. I don't know who it was, but she stands up for herself. And so yeah, I just really like the character of Anne Elliot. Question number 3. Name a book off of your shelves that you think Jane would wholeheartedly approve of. I had to think about this one for a long time, partly because how am I supposed to know what Jane Austen would approve of? But I decided in the end to go with E.F. Benson's Queen Lucia and Miss Mapp. Both of those books are in this bind up. And the reason I chose this book is that it's, first of all, it's funny. It is really funny. And I think that Jane Austen would approve of that. It seems to me that she has a very good sense of humor. And so I think that she would approve of the humor in this book. It is also, these books are also books of, they are comedies of social manners, and a lot of Jane Austen's books were like that as well. And I think that she understood that you can find limitless stories in amongst social manners and groupings of people, and that's some of the great stuff about this. E.F. Benson wrote these books in the 20s, and I have another one. I have Lucia in London, I think, and I believe there's a few more, and I definitely want to collect all of them. I just really enjoy these. And also, isn't this cover just beautiful? All right, question number 4. Name a book off of your shelves that you think Jane would have hated and why. Again, really hard question. I don't know what she would have hated. Also, I don't know that I have a ton of books on my shelves that she would have hated. I had a really hard time with this. I was gonna go with maybe a modern day mystery that's got maybe a little more violence in it and stuff. But in the end, I decided to cheat a little bit because this book is not on my shelves because I didn't like it either. And that's Joan Aiken's Eliza's Daughter. Joan Aiken wrote a series of sequels to all of Jane Austen's books, and Eliza's Daughter is her sequel to Sense and Sensibility, and it tells the story of Colonel Brandon's ward's child. And I did not like it at all, mostly because of what Joan Aiken did to the characters from Pride and Prejudice. Many of them were in her book, and I just, first of all, I felt she changed a lot of their personalities and character, which wasn't awesome. But also, I just really disliked the features that she gave to these characters, and I think that Jane Austen wouldn't have liked that book either. Question number 5. Who is your favorite minor Jane Austen character? Oh, this was really tricky. I thought about this for a long time, and in the end, I had to do this with some honorable mentions because I have a hard time coming up with just one favorite minor character. So here are some of my honorable mentions. Mrs. Jennings from Sense and Sensibility, I think, is awesome. I love her character. Miss Bates from Emma, I really like her character. Mrs. Bennet from Pride and Prejudice is just hilarious. In the end, I had to have a tie, even with all of the honorable mentions. But my favorite minor characters, and both of them are couples, but Mr. and Mrs. Gardner from Pride and Prejudice, especially Mrs. Gardner, I really like her as a character. She's calm, and she's just really, like, she's there for her nieces and offers good advice. I just really like her as a character, and I like Mr. Gardner too. And then the other couple that I really like, that are some of my favorite minor characters, are the Admiral and Mrs. Croft from Persuasion. They're both great characters, and I love them as a couple. Question number 6. Name a book off of your shelves that you feel was somehow inspired by Jane Austen's body of work. And this was easy, and that's Pride and Prescience by Carrie Bebris. This was 100% inspired by Jane Austen's work because the main characters are Mr. and Mrs. Darcy. And this is a historical mystery, so Mr. and Mrs. Darcy end up solving mysteries, but the author clearly loves Jane Austen and loves Pride and Prejudice. And unlike Joan Aiken, she manages to maintain the personalities and the characters in this story, and everything they do in these books, it's a whole series, but in this one especially, is believable to the character that I know from Pride and Prejudice. And so I think that this is definitely one that's been inspired by Jane Austen. And then finally, question number 7. Which Jane Austen character do you simply love to hate? There were many that I could choose from, so I'm going to have some honorable mentions here. Mrs. Norris from Mansfield Park. I did not like her at all. She's nasty. Willoughby, I don't know if he counts as a minor character, but I don't like Willoughby at all. He is a nasty person. Fanny Dashwood. Sorry, Willoughby is from Sense and Sensibility. Fanny Dashwood is also from Sense and Sensibility, and she is unbelievable. I don't like her at all. But the winner here, the winners, there's 2 of them again. My least favorite characters, or characters that I love to hate, are the Crawfords from Mansfield Park. Henry Crawford is a horrible person, and so is his sister. Oh, Mary Crawford. The pair of them, like, they're brother and sister, but honestly, they bring out the worst in each other, and I Oh, I do not like the Crawfords at all. Oh, and another couple, this was supposed to be in my honorable mentions, are the Eltons from Emma. What a horrible pair. Mrs. Elton with her Mr. E. Oh, it's terrible. And the way that they snub Harriet Smith at the ball is just horrible. So anyway, that was my Jane Austen July tag. I had a lot of fun thinking about the answers to those questions. I love Jane Austen, and I have just been really enjoying reading a lot of Jane Austen and Jane Austen related or inspired works this month. And so let's have a discussion in the comment section down below. Which Jane Austen character do you simply love to hate? I think that's a great question. So if you haven't done a tag video, I would love to hear about your character from Jane Austen that you just don't like at all. And I will see you for another video soon. Bye.